Yeah, Rap Radar Podcast, Elliot Wilson.
My name is B-Dot.
B-Dot, what's up, baby? California, we back?
Why not? It's like a home away from home.
This is a special rare one, man.
He doesn't do too many interviews. I checked.
Christian Clancy,
Man
behind all that Tyler, the Creator craziness.
Tyler, the Creator, responsible for Frank Ocean's early success. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Hey, man, we're excited he's here, man. Hopefully make him comfortable so he stays for a little bit.
Shit, I'm excited we're here.
Yeah, Rap Radar Podcast, Christian Clancy.
Back in L.A.
Back in L.A., man, to see this man. He rarely talks, man.
He's a unicorn. Christian Clancy.
Christian Clancy. How are you, sir?
I'm good. No complaints. A little nervous. Not big on this type of stuff.
Congratulations, man.
On everything.
Thank you.
#1 album. I thought a great quote you wrote in your IG explaining it from your perspective. You said brand equity. It's a sort of a testament to the brand equity that you guys have been building for years. Can you explain that?
Tyler's the type of artist that we don't get caught up in the normal metrics of stuff, right? It's like just be who he is consistently for a long period of time and be fearless about it, and kind of brick by brick you built. Every one of his records is pretty wildly unique relative to the one before it. I think, a lot of artists who have a legacy aspect to them do that, so they don't get caught in some sort of treadmill they can't get off of.
Of trying to make
we all know who those are, which they kind of constantly trying to recreate. So he's become almost like an archetype for a younger generation of that style of artist that has the ability to move around. So I think he made an album. I feel like everything, this kind of sounds cliche or whatever, but all the things that he's done has now led to his ability to make the album that is, I guess, the most him, because now he knows how to play with all the toys, and he has the studios. He learned everything else was incredible and part of his process, and now he's there and he made this.
During the process, did you know that the album was going to be special? Because it feels like it's his best work to date.
It's B-Dot's favorite. B-Dot was never the biggest.
No, I get it.
OF and Tyler fan.
Yeah. I get it.
I feel like a lot of people are really connecting to this album that may not have been as much of a fan.
I've definitely noticed that, where he's getting accolades where he hasn't before. I'm getting phone calls and texts that I never got. And
Can you share one?
I'm just random.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because you see it in him, so it's he's not one to hide his emotions. You see the enthusiasm. You see he won't put anything out that he doesn't love, but you definitely felt it. And watching people listen to it and their heads kind of exploding was really cool to watch, because it means a shit ton to him. He don't ultimately give a fuck,
Right?
But he cares so much.
Yeah, for sure. It's that yin and yang.
But he said that too, you kind of touched on, it seems like he's getting the point of being so comfortable as musicianship that he's making the sounds and music that he always wanted to create with more of that pop, getting out what he wanted to do. Why do you think that's been such a journey, and how has he gotten better in your observations as an artist?
I think it's getting better. I mean, it's life experience. It's touring the world. It's friendships and your own evolution as a human being, exposure to a wider, world. I think that all, he's a deep cut music guy. He listens to the most random shit I've never heard of, and he'll talk for 44 hours about, a horn.
Right.
And I think he just got to incorporate all of that into this. I don't know what genre this record is. I don't. It's him.
What were your thoughts when he came to you with the IGOR persona?
You have massive balls. And
how did he explain it to you?
He draws everything out in this book that he has. So he has it well in his head. He's probably had some version of this in his head for years. He just has the ability to stand on stage in a blonde rig and be completely confident.
Right.
And by the way, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think of how many rappers could do that, right? To be vulnerable. It's I always look at the sweet spot is there's ego, there's insecurity, and then there's confident vulnerability. And that's, to me, where if an artist can find confidence in vulnerability, you win. Because it's that spot where it's you're allowing yourself to be who you are, but you're confident about it. You're allowing yourself to be judged. You're fearless about it. And that's a hard place for people to get to.
The last person I could think of is Andre 3000 when he used to come on stage with the wigs.
How big it was when he decided he was just going to dress like that.
Right.
And I think people love that. It's like we need that. Some version of that, you know.
It's interesting too, because I feel like a lot of times, even in the beginning, as much as you've helped him build this whole empire, this business, you've always said in the beginning, there were times in the beginning you didn't like some of the content in terms of like that he went too far. Some of it you didn't like, you know, but you still supported his mission. And I
always thought it was weird when people would be like, you know, how do you support that? And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Run away from a bunch of kids, or you know, a kid who's that talented, who's learning about life, and like allow them to come to their own conclusions about the decisions they're making when they're teenagers. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if everything you said was like all over the world that you said when you were a teenager.
Right.
Like, give people the ability to have hindsight before you run. I mean, what kind of human would I be then?
Right.
You like to be a good human, a solid.
Well, it'd be weird. I mean, I never understood that. So what should I do? Run? Like, yeah, some of the lyrics were not my thing. Not at all. And I would always I'd be on the side of the stage going, oh, just get through this song, please.
So how gratifying was it to debut at #1?
It was big. Again, we don't get so caught up in that. It's not like that's like a, you know, but again, if it happens, that's like radio to me. It's like cake by itself is delicious,
right?
Without the icing, if you bake it right. But you put the icing on, amazing. But you don't need the icing. If it happens, great. That's a sick cake. So like the same with that. It's like I feel like it was a culmination of all the shit he's done, and it felt amazing to see him that happy about. You know, it's a validation. It's you know, it had a little bit of drama with it, but it was, you know.
You seemed even more excited, like with the Garden selling out too, Madison Square Garden.
Huge. That to me, that's equal, if not more. It's just like it's those moments that make you go, damn, like you did that.
And then you snuck back to London all of a sudden. We
tried
to do the surprise pop-up thing, and it didn't go well, but it still was a great moment. Like
we actually we couldn't tell anyone anything because you can't. You know, if all of a sudden you're trying to organize something like that, it's going to get out. There's just no way around it. So, like, 2 people at the label knew. Jasper didn't even know on the plane over there. We had the pilot in on the joke. The pilot said we were going to Paris, right? Wow. So, like, when we landed, Jasper on his phone, it said, "Welcome to the UK." And he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" He didn't even know we were in the UK. And, yeah, that was a long time coming. That whole situation was a little weird, just the fact that he got banned in general for something he did when he was younger, you know, whatever, and changed, right? Like you actually acknowledge that I don't do that anymore, and then you get banned. It's kind of weird. Anyway, side note. But, you know, we just went back in. He wanted to do something special, and we tried to keep the window tight from when he said he was going to be somewhere and him being there, and it just got nuts.
Yeah. How'd you get the ban lifted? Was it just like time had passed, or
a long process? Lots of lawyers and talking and letters and head scratching. Like, look at this guy. Like, what are you afraid of? Right. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Like because he wrote some lyrics when he was freaking 15. Like I don't even understand how to judge that. Like you know, like so yeah. That was a long, tedious process.
And what was they saw you guys at a tennis match? Was that in London or was that in
French
France?
Open?
French Open, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man, the money's different now. You go get tennis matches and shit.
French Open. That was tight. I don't know anything about tennis. That was amazing. Really cool. Watching him sit courtside and just, you know, he actually loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw something. It was Wayno in the comments. It was a shot of you and him at the French Open. And Wayno, you know, he's become a media person. He managed Davies. He's been in the business for a minute. He was like, it's so dope to see that Tyler's stuck with fucking Clancy. Like, those guys never broke up like that. Like, you see all the time, like, managers and artists go through the ups and downs. And you've been with him since day one, 2010. Like, how has that grown through the years? And why do you think there's never been a time when...
I came up watching Paul and M. And I was enamored by that, and like to me, it's all about relationships, right? So it's relationships are everything, and how can I represent someone that I don't really know? And we all, you know, a lot of artists go through a lot of people all the time, and you're constantly trying to find something. And I feel like the more you do that, the more you set yourself up to fail because you have to relearn everything and whatever. And we have an amazing relationship that's ultimate trust. I trust him on anything, you know, obviously creative and ideas and whatever he wants to do, and he trusts me on how to make a cobweb out of it, right? Like, and we listen to each other. He changes my mind all the time. I change his mind sometimes. We disagree, but it's like all super, super healthy. So like it's a really strong relationship that I value.
He mentions you a lot in his music. You didn't get a mention on the new one, but I remember.
No. That's okay.
Flower Boy, you got mentioned twice. Flower Boy, you got mentioned on November, where you talked about kind of like the worst fear of like, well, maybe because I do trust this guy one day. What if this goes wrong and my money's not a certain way?
Right.
And you also in the song Pothole, he sort of also talked about how you and his mother are these people who guide him through the thing where he may have ups and downs with friends in his business. Like, how hard has that been at times? You know, when we first saw him come out, it was OF, it was just this whole collective, and now it seems like the focus has become more on him. Like, how has that changed through the years?
I think it's like anything. Imagine you and your high school friends, right? Like, I talk to one of them. I love all of them, but I talk to one of them, really. Yeah. So it's like, you know, if all of a sudden you're, you know, with a group of your friends and life happens and you see the world and you know, as that develops, you see the differences, and it's not positive nor negative. It's not right or wrong. It's just like you kind of grow sometimes away from each other, but not like out of spite. You just grow away from each other. So, you know, for the most part, all of that is still good. And, you know, I think that for him, he's Tyler. He was just, you know, that it was kind of inevitable that they all went to plant their own flags in different places. Yeah. Like, that was kind of the point. Yeah. You know, it's hard to, you know, how do you maintain that? You know, especially when you come out when so much of the beginning was about angst and like, you know, and it's like, I mean, that's exhausting. At some point, you have to like, okay, what do I do now?
Right.
Like, I can't maintain that level of angst. Right, I definitely could.
Mentioning growth, I think about the Flog Nog Festival. It's like when it's its 7th, 8th year, I believe. 8th year. Wow. Talk about the success of that, and like this was the fastest pre-sale.
Around Tyler's Goblin album, he was like, "Let's show." He likes this fucking ride, this zipper thing at the carnival. It's like the worst ride ever, like the most unsafe, janky ass looking thing. And he's like, "I want to shut down Fairfax and put a zipper and like a couple rides," and the city was like, "No, hell no." And then we wound up talking to Golden Voice, who's our production partner, and rented out a lot in downtown and started. I think the first one was 2,600 kids. And this last go around, we did a pre-sale, and it was by a landslide the fastest selling thing. And the festival game right now, it's like everyone's got, like, there's festivals everywhere, and you're constantly competing, and you can get caught up in like, how do you maintain? And we've just always like, how do we keep it enough of an experience that it's big enough to sell without knowing who's playing, and let that be the icing, right? So like the experience itself is worth the money.
Right.
That was always the goal.
Is that what makes it so distinctive and special and stand out from all these other festivals?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's a lot of time and effort put into the little things.
Yeah.
And I go to a lot of festivals, obviously, and and it's no diss on a lot of festivals. Like, look, whatever way works, but like, a lot of them, it's like a parking lot and steel stage, right? And, and then the beer garden and the thing, and it's like, and by the way, that may be fine. It doesn't, I'm not judging that but like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think Tyler's more into how do you make it feel like you're walking into something where you can kind of like, here's a thing where when you walk in, his voice is saying, go listen to a band you don't think you'd want to see. Go try a food. Yeah, go try a food that you don't like. Go talk to someone you think you wouldn't, normally hang out with. And it creates an environment that's like, it just, we've had like 2 arrests in 5 years, which is, think about that. Like, for real, think
that
about
amount
that.
Of kids.
That's fucking nuts.
That's awesome. When did you realize you were onto something with Our Future?
To be honest with you, I don't know about the moments. It's like it all just kind of, it was a lot. Like, it was a lot. I had left Interscope I was consulting at the time a friend of mine, Dave Arati, who sent me videos of Tyler and Earl, and I was like consulting on M's Recovery album, I think it was at that time. And I was, you know, I liked, it wasn't like some weird movie moment where I stopped everything and I ran across the field. But I loved, I'm a Rage Against the Machine, that's my favorite band of all time. Yeah. And there were, you know, I had burnt out at Interscope. Like I had burnt out. Yeah. I was done. Like it was just the same. I used to be in meetings and I'd be talking and I would almost watch myself having the talk because it just become just the same fucking repetitive rotation of shit that was coming out of my mouth. Right. And I was really good at it.
Yeah.
But then I was watching myself going, bro, you got to do something else. And they just represented all the things that I felt like was missing, and like the fearlessness and like the fuck you, but fuck you with a message. It wasn't like fuck you for fuck you's sake. Yeah. And it was just perfect timing in my life. So we hung out a bunch first. I'm not like the, hey, I'm a manager, you know. Like,
do you remember what song it was that caught your attention?
Well, I had the French video. That's what started it. And then the Earl video, but Tebe was gone at the time. Yeah. Yeah, and then I just went down a wormhole. Like you sit on your computer and you just go down a wormhole going, holy shit, this is crazy.
When did you see like someone like had that Sid was special? You know what I mean? And watching her development, I know how proud you are of what she's become with the internet.
Sid's incredible. Dave Arati actually manages the internet. Yeah. But Sid's amazing. I use her a lot of time for myself because, and I don't want to say anything that she wouldn't say herself, and I think most of this is kind of public, but she was going through it at that early stage. Like, she's the female in the group, and like, it's a lot, like a bunch of dudes and all that angst and crazy, and all of a sudden you're on this stage, and and I think that was super, super heavy for her, and the way that she transitioned where she was into taking vocal lessons, into putting out albums, into playing in front of 9 people. Like
9.
Like no, like the internet. I'm using that as a
right.
Of course.
Maybe it was 90, whatever it was, right? But like small rooms where the first record we put out was an internet record. Which a lot of people were like, what the fuck? Right. And it's like, but to me, it made all the sense in the world. That's the point. Yeah. Like, this is not just what you think it is. And if we just stayed angst, then that burns out. Yeah. It's like, so hit people here. I love to hit people here because then it's like it makes you reevaluate what you even think about what it is. So watching her transform herself from where she was at like a kind of a bottom point to like challenging herself to like sing in front of people and put out the record first and be judged, stand on stage, be judged, and then turn into a Grammy-nominated artist. Like,
it's crazy.
It's one of the coolest stories of any of the people I've worked with.
But you also work with new artists, Raveena, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, how do you decide who you want to take on as a client?
I don't. It's rare because I like the boutique thing. I don't want to be like. With all respect, I don't want to be Scooter Braun. Like I love what he does, and he's great at it. But like I don't want to. I'm not. It's too much. So it has to be something that just really like, fuck. Like this is a no-brainer, and we have to be able to have the bandwidth for it. That was a friend of our publicist who basically reps everybody. That we work with on everybody, and he sent it to me. And I was like, all right, I'll listen to it. And then I was listening to it. And then whenever I like something that much, I'm like, oh, fuck.
You got to get involved.
He sent it to Kelly. Kelly was like,
Kelly's his wife.
Right. Kelly's my wife, partner. She basically does everything. And then she sent it to me. And then I was like, and then we were both like, oh, fuck. And then we just met and it worked out.
Well, that's dope.
Not more complicated than that, but yeah.
And many people may not know you was also involved with Solange during her big breakthrough moment, a seat at the table. Like, talk about that time.
She's amazing. I mean, look, she has that. I always say, like, I don't think there's anyone better at capturing aesthetic. Like, she could take a picture in her backyard of like some random shit, and it should be in a museum. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what she does. She's incredible at presenting. I mean, her and Tyler have a similar, like, they see something in their head and they know how to properly execute it. It's one thing to have an idea. It's another thing to surround yourself with people that you trust that can help you execute that idea. But when it's so rare that all those things come together, and you know, I'm fully blown away at her capacity to take what's in her head and make it that visually appealing and aesthetically like perfect.
Right. Yeah. But how was it to see like the culmination of that? I feel like it was finally this body of work, a seat at the table. Like,
yeah.
What were your reflections of that album? And
I just remember with her, it's like just literally trying to facilitate the things that are in her head. You know what I mean? Like she sees it. She fully sees it. This is what I want. Here's who's going to do this. And, you know, it's like, so it's really just comes down to executing. And I feel like that was a really big moment for her. You know, I'm happy the accolades she got, and you know, it was a good time.
Right. With other artists, I know you said like everything is icing on the cake, but do you have a similar approach when it comes to like traditional mediums like radio or, you know, television appearances and things like that for new artists that you decide to take on?
Well, first, it depends on the artist, right? So Tyler's not big on anything traditional, right? So, and also, I look at it. I come from that. I come from like, here's the 10 boxes you check. You do this late night show. You do this out. You know, it used to be get the XXL cover, you know, and there were like these things you check, and now it's like so wide open. What I learned is that the world, like one of the biggest lessons I learned at Interscope was a Pharrell lesson, because when I was there, you would think that Pharrell wasn't working. This was the In My Mind record, based on the feeling inside the building, right? And it took me to, when I left Interscope, I realized not only was it working, it was crazy working on a level we had no metrics to measure, right? Like it's the reason why Tyler exists, right? Or all, and by by default, a whole generation of artists who were inspired by that. So his importance on cultural relevance. We didn't have a cultural relevance metric. We had this DJ in Detroit doesn't think, you know what I mean? And you would change a decision based on some dude's fucking opinion in Detroit. No disrespect to Detroit, but wherever, insert whatever.
Insert major urban city.
All right, and it's like, and the truth is, anything that has any sort of merit, not every time, but a lot of times it's going to hit you different the first month. You're not going to get it right away. That's what Tyler said with Igor. Like, I don't care if everyone loves it. I want people to like. I'd rather have someone be like, man, I don't know what this is making. Yeah, just
mysterious.
Yeah. Mysterious.
Well, let's talk about that.
Great word.
Let's do it.
You know, we all saw the clip with DJ Khaled. You know, it seems like he was talking about Tyler's album. Like, did that bother you? Like, what was your impression on
that? Look, I'll leave most of this at this, because I'm not going to get caught up in stuff. Yeah. I think that there were two aspects to this. There was kind of the bundle thing, and you know, and I do want to make sure, because none of the articles that have written about this have caught the fact that over half of Tyler's bundles were actually music. It was vinyl and CD. So like, I don't even know, it got kind of lumped into this bundle category, and like the way, like, you know,
selling a non-music related thing.
This was actually vinyl. This was actually CDs, and that was the majority of his bundles, which seemed to somehow get lost in the story. That kind of bums me out. Like, I didn't like that part, because it's like that wasn't told. Accurate. And then, you know, and I had saw what was going on. Like, I'm not naive, and I was watching this kind of third party company over here that felt a bit Herbalife-y. And, you know, but I never got too into it, because I figured there's no way that's going to, you know, that's not going to count. And then I'm trying to be delicate here. The mysterious thing, look, I understand why Tyler, number one, of course that was about Tyler, without question, because he did that a few other times during the week. That wasn't the only time he said mysterious.
Yeah. And it was taken, to be fair, it was taken down. Yeah, it was taken down, and somebody caught it. Yeah,
I was paying attention. And but I also understand why Tyler would be mysterious to him.
Right.
Like, think about it. They are polar opposites. And I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. Tyler didn't do shit, right? Like, but it was like, Tyler's like, I take that back. It was much more calculated and spread out, and like, I'm gonna leave a piece of steak here. I'm a vegetarian. I'm gonna leave some tofu here. I'm gonna leave some tofu here.
Impossible burger
right?
there.
This one may taste funny, but
Right.
you're gonna go, damn. To kind of the play was to get inside people's heads in a different way, and Cowett went the full other direction, which is like boom, 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 boom,
But
boom.
you've witnessed at record companies before.
Right.
I know that whole thing, and so I understand why he would think it's mysterious. Did I appreciate the way it was presented? No, that's my guy. Like,
But
come
do you
on,
still
dude.
feel
Like,
like
you're not. Come on.
But even the artists you've represented, from him to Solange to Mac Miller, like, do you feel like you tend to gravitate towards those artists that put the artistry above it all, and they're taking they're kind of more the underdogs, right? You've seen them
I
age
love
push
that.
people.
I'm from, I mean, I am. I wouldn't. I don't think I would be nearly effective if I was with an artist who wasn't that. I wouldn't want to do it. I don't care, like, if there's a big check involved like that. I don't think.
Which you could get now.
I don't want to do that. Like, not to sound stupid, there are opportunities that come up like that, and it's like, I don't. Nah, I'd much rather like help you build your own thing, right? Like, because there's never been a better time to do it. And I also feel like when you're in that other lane, it's a lane there's nothing wrong with that lane, but it's a lane you got to commit to, and you're going to be in it the rest of your career. Because, okay, now I got a hit. Okay, fuck, now what? Everyone high fives. Oh, I got a hit record, right? And the labels are high five, and the promo people are getting their bonuses. And, you know what I mean? And the publishing checks come in, but then you got to write another hit. Right.
Quickly.
And if it's not the same type of hit as that hit, you fell off. And then now your anxiety, now you're making music for somebody else. So it's like, I don't think I would be good with people who are worried about writing for somebody else. Because now I don't know what I'm marketing anymore. Because now I'm marketing for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to connect. I wouldn't be good at that.
But you mentioning hits, man. That earthquake sounds like it could be something.
Right. But when it happens, amazing. Right? Like if it happens by default, that's the best case scenario. I want nothing more than for him to have a hit. Right? But because it bent to him, he didn't go in there. You know, it's like that's something where when it happens that way, that's the ultimate goal. Right? When you have a number one record, wow, if you get you all of a sudden you're on radio, wow. Like, Tyler cries when shit's on the radio. Like, he'll pull over the side of the road. Like, he wants all that. It's just, he's just not going to sacrifice the radio game and all that stuff. He's not really that dude. I don't know if you noticed.
So it's like radio's bending to him, because when I first heard that song on IGOR, I'm like, wow, this sounds like it belongs on the mix show or somewhere in rotation. It's a really good joint.
I mentioned Mac Miller, like, you definitely got to, connect with him and manage him in the final years of his life. Can you talk about your connection with him?
Wonderful, wonderful human being. One of the most, like, selfless humans I've ever been around in my life. Had so much in front of him. The part that I loved about where he was and where he was going is I feel like he was becoming free, right? Like, imagine being him in his younger years. And by the way, all the music's great. Like, it's not like he always made what he wanted to make. But then when you have that thing where it's like, all artists have that ego and insecurity thing, right? It's like just the back and forth seesaw, and who are you supposed to be? Who am I supposed to, like, I need validation. I'm in hip hop. I'm a white guy. Like, all these things of, like, what do I have to be? Okay, fuck, I'm not getting credibility from what I'm doing over here, and I desperately want that. So, like, the kind of back and forth. And he was, I think, between Divine Feminine and really on Swimming, those are musical albums that he was just fully engulfed in. And you could see the best part was watching people appreciate that, because he was being fully him. And to watch him get recognized for being fully him and watching his reaction to that, like, was the best part. I mean, that was, the whole thing was brutal. You know,
you said it didn't seem real. It's hard to,
completely out of left field. You know, his struggles weren't secret. I think he was very open about them. But he was doing really, really well.
Yeah.
So that was brutal.
I read when you first met him, you said you misunderstood him.
100%. I marginalized him. I had him again. It simply was because I didn't look under the hood. But he was the white college rapper guy that would go sell out the House of Blues everywhere.
Right.
Like there was like 4 or 5 of the version of that, and basically ignorance. And I had met him right around watching movies. I was like, damn, he nice, really nice. Like,
He gets busy.
but it was only because I didn't listen. But by the way, he got that a lot. I think a lot of people had him.
They box him as a frat rapper.
Yeah, that better way of saying what I said. Much more articulate and to the point. That's what I did completely. And once I got to see him and hang out with him and watch him in the studio, and like it's just like holy shit, like he Neil Young, like he's like all these things. He's not what I thought.
Any favorite songs or sessions come to mind? When you look
I don't know. As far as I'm bad at like on the spot moments. 'Cause I have to like fucking like wait, okay, shit moments.
One
like,
time you Instagrammed up. It's hard to listen to now, but Godspeed. It's a great record.
incredible.
Perfect Circle, Godspeed.
I love that record.
Yeah.
I think swimming in general. I think
The Last Word.
Yeah, like going in when he'd have 37 playlists. He'd be changing shit all the time, changing titles all the time, moving shit around. But going in and sitting down, I don't like hearing stuff and it's like I'm not an A&R guy. I'm not trying to be an A&R guy. I'll tell you if I like something. I'll tell you what and typically I'm wrong. I mean, and I remember hearing it the first time and just being like, holy shit, dude. Like wow, you did that.
So it was definitely bittersweet at the Grammy nomination came out.
Yeah, all heavy. It's weird. Like the past week, I've had a few regurgitated moments of like kind of sadness about it, where I'd kind of like gotten over the sad part, and then it's like, okay, now you protect the legacy, and you think of the good times, and like get past that. And I've had a couple this past week.
The celebration of life event, and things like
which
that.
was I watched that the other day, parts of it, and that was so fucking great. Yeah. Like what an amazing and hard. Like, are we doing this too soon? Are we like? All these things that you have to somehow navigate, knowing that someone's going to have an issue with whatever move you make, right? And it's like, and not me, the family, the estate, the people involved want to do is to be as respectful of the legacy. Don't do anything that doesn't feel like that, or add to, not don't look back. Just what. Yeah, brutal. But that event was incredible, and a testament to, the people who came and the time that was given, and that's the definition of bittersweet. Yeah.
We'll take it back to the Interscope days. What's your favorite 50 Cent story?
Oh,
and
shit.
Did you ever have to rock a bulletproof vest?
Once. I have this thought all the time. There has never in my life have I been around a harder working, more charismatic human being than 50. Like. He would walk in. He would meet people would line up outside my office. He'd bring everybody up. They'd stand in line. He'd sign everything. He'd hug everybody. He'd say, "Where's the finance meeting?" He'd go to the finance meeting, give everyone massages. Like he knew what he was doing. Yeah. He was
Curtis Interscope Jackson.
Fucking good at it. I've never seen anyone remotely close to that type of charisma. And now he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Because
running the building.
You couldn't help wanting him to whatever you want. Yes, keep making me feel cool and good.
Right,
I'm in, because you're the dangerous dude. You got all these dudes that control the money, going, "Oh my god, I feel cool."
Budget
my
approved.
Kids
Budget approved.
Right.
He was brilliant at it. Never seen anyone better. Incredible.
But you didn't no drama though. You didn't have to rock the bulletproof vest.
Yes, I did have to rock a bulletproof vest once. I think we were in Puerto Rico. Look, that was that whole thing was in retrospect, you get kind of caught. Look, I was an idiot too. Like I had a Cadillac Escalade grill drilled to the front of my desk in Interscope.
Wow.
I had white tees that were this high that I wore one in the morning and one at night. I had fucking
It's a period piece.
Air Force Ones that I three wears. I had like people run into whenever they came out. I was an idiot, right? Like spent all my money on like the
man,
LeBrons.
I had cornrows. That was out of my mind too, man.
Every shoe ever made. I used to wear slippers because I didn't like the crease when I walked at the office. So like waist. Like when I drove, I wouldn't crease. Can you press on the gas? It's doing this, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but
time of the industry.
I had created a caricature of myself, which was part of my burnout, right? Because I created this guy, right, that was like that guy, and that's fine for a while, but you do that for years. You're like, you walk by the mirror one too many times, you're like, who are you, dude? Right. Like, this is fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
And by the way, and this again on the Khaled thing, part of me always looks at things from a lens of like an empathetic lens until I get pissed. But like, but I like that image hold up 24/7 is exhausting. Yeah. So if I felt that there, imagine if your entire mantra of everything is always this, always like
always on.
I understand like, you know, the pressure of having to maintain an image. Like it's like, fuck, dude, that shit is brutal. And I had a really good introspective life lesson going through that and kind of like shook off the cobwebs and like, okay, I don't need to be this, you know, like, because I became that. People liked me because of that, right? Like all anyone wanted to talk about was shoes,
right?
And it's like, and that was sick for a while, but I'm like, the shoes keep coming and going, like you know, it's like we used to have like shoe battles with Shaw Money, and I was nice with the shoes. I spent all my money on shoes, all of it. The dumbest, God, was I stupid.
But the best thing that came out of those years is you met your wife, Kelly, and you guys have been business partners now since the beginning. Like you talk about how do you do that, brother? Speaking from my perspective,
4 strikes.
Give us some tips.
It's one of them things that's not supposed to work. But it does. It's hard to explain. It's like she's really good at the things I'm not, and vice versa. So it's kind of like this perfect thing where it's like it's unspoken. I'll know what's handled without we don't have to talk about it because like she's just really good at certain things, and vice versa. You know, the way we've been able to build this kind of thing that I don't know how to explain it. It just works. Like I wish there was some sort of like, here's what you do. Like, we just love each other, and it's not easy. But I mean, there are times I want to get the fuck away, right? But like I can say that, and vice versa. So it's like it's kind of it's being honest as much as possible.
Yeah. But how do you find that balance? Because even from when I first met. I'm meeting Tyler, I'm interviewing Tyler, and I'm in your home, right? So there's your wife, your daughter. You know, your daughter is always shown like it seems like there's no boundaries of like the family and the business being interspersed together so much.
I'm not good at like for better or worse, it always becomes like a family. It's like I don't know how to. I also feel like at the end of the day, if I'm representing you or if Kelly's representing you, I got to know you. I can't represent the version of you I think you should be or the version of you that like you're presenting image-wise, right? I need to know you. I need to know what's underneath the shit because everyone has the shit.
Right.
So everyone's got the Instagram account. But it's like, I don't want to work for that. I need to work for who's not on the Instagram account.
Right.
And also who's 10 years down the road with hindsight. Like, so the only way to do that, and I'm a huge intuition guy. I think, like, I always say there's a difference between gut and intuition. Gut is like intuition, but with dad issues and fucking fear and all this other shit. But intuition's just pure. And the only way that you can have an intuitive sense about someone is to fucking know them. Because now you're coming from that place. I don't want to come from a surface level thing. I wouldn't be as good. Like, I can navigate much better if if it's a family aspect,
Yeah.
which becomes a lot. You know, it's a lot to take on. You know,
because in some sense, you know, just says, do you feel like you're a father figure to Tyler and some of the
for sure. I mean, I think that it's something I don't take lightly. There has been times where it feels like a lot of pressure, like because you're also taking on probably subconsciously whatever version of relationship they have with their own father, subconsciously, right? Like
Sure.
not that they would say that, but it's like it's here. You're just an older male figure that so you do the best. Someone said something to me that's a really wise human said. Stop, breathe, do the best you can, stay out of the results, and keep it moving. And it's like
stay out of the results.
Fuck the results.
I'll put that on
because
the shirt.
if you did the best you can, right? So it's like stop, breathe. So stop and be aware. Know where the fuck you're at. Like don't just keep being. I guarantee you, everyone in this room is on autopilot half the time. You're just kind of going through life, right?
Right.
Like even the conversations you have are sometimes autopilot-y, right?
True.
Probably.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. So like take a moment and then do the best you can. And then if you do that, fuck the results because you did the best you can, right? So I don't know what my point was with that. I lost my train of thought.
I know a result that you did enjoy. Your Philadelphia Eagles finally winning the Super Bowl.
Oh my God.
What was going on? Were you at the game? Like,
Bro,
what was it?
Yes. Oh, man.
No, because he's such a football fan, the Eagles fan.
saw.
And like
Bro.
you always said, he was clear. He was like, I just want one championship.
I was
We
gonna
just
walk
get
from the
one.
game. I was gonna leave it on the field. After the ring. I'm like, I'm out. Like I'm gonna leave. I mean, I can't. But like, I cried in the I got like the movie scenes where you're like you're up against the shit like this. The water's hitting your face, and I'm crying like gut crying, not like crying, like legit fucking crying like a 5-year-old baby, like just going. Because like Philly. That's like my family and my history and like Veterans Stadium when I was a kid and like, your quasi identity and like I got the shit tatted on me and like, and I had never known what it's like to be at the top of the mountain. You know what I mean? To feel the wind at your back.
And you said, I just want one. That's one. I'm not greedy.
I just want
one championship.
Yeah, and by the way, I still don't have like, oh fuck, we need another one. Now it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's
You
not
can enjoy the season
It was
more?
life or death before.
Right.
Now it's just fun. I got one.
Right. Oh,
I
yeah.
did it. I still am like, fuck. There's gonna be a flag on the field somewhere,
And
like
you beat
something.
the
Bro.
Patriots, too.
Dude, in the grandest way possible. That was that night. Oh my God, that was, whew.
That was special.
Oh my God, dude.
But you only got, when it comes to the music, you only have one. You have two. You got Tyler the Creator, and we also got this guy Frank Ocean.
I don't work with Frank now.
Well, no, but back
Yep.
then, like,
Yep.
would you expect like the success of him and his trajectory?
100%. Frank is like, Frank is just a songwriting genius to me. Like his natural ability to, the way he look at the way. I don't want to say R&B, but look, he's fundamentally changed the way songs sound. If you ask me, if you look at a lot of artists who write the way he does, I don't even know how to articulate it. I could never.
Yeah.
He just has an incredible tone and sensibility and articulation of words that like is just poetic and make you. It's like how I always say like good music has a tone to it that hits you in a place of the stuff you don't know how to deal with. Like we, like the stuff that the pain, right? So like that we all, everyone has their ways out, drinking drugs, antidepressants, shopping, whatever it's shoes, whatever it is. But like good music can hit that thing and it's like this weird connected release. He has an incredible, if you're just in your car driving, you got to deal with some shit. And not that it's heavy, it just has this like it's like in your mother's womb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he makes music that makes you sometimes feel like you in your mother's womb.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's just like So did I think that for him? 100%.
Was any song in particular that stood out when you first heard it?
Well, that was back with like Swim Good and
Nova
But left the
King.
Channel
King.
Orange, you still was
yeah,
involved with.
yeah, Channel Orange.
2 Grammys, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Bad Religion, like that note he hits is just crazy. Crack Rock, I love that
Thinking
song.
About You?
Thinking About You. That whole record to me, you know, and him and Kelly are like best friends. You know, they talk all the time. But yeah, not surprised at all by that.
What did you think when he did the Blonde Endless thing and sort of disrupted this whole business?
I mean,
we're still recovering.
one of the most gangster moves ever, right? Like, I mean, shit. How do you not respect that? You know, I mean, shit.
What do you mean by that, Ellie? For the people that don't know.
Well, I guess he fulfilled his Def Jam contract, and then he put out a record through Apple Music. So we hadn't seen that coming. So
He apparently knew what the fine print said, and he did a hell of a job.
So now,
that.
basically, now it used to be the fight for DSPs to have exclusives. It's very rare to have a true exclusive anymore.
He changed shit. He
Changed it.
did.
Lucian came in and said
He did
no
something
more
that can't be.
exclusive.
They ain't letting that happen again. Under any circumstance.
Unless you own your masters, like Jay could do it, and beyond, like Jay owns with the card, he could do his own masters. But other than that, no.
Yeah, I'm sure Jay can do whatever. But yeah, no, he opened and shut the door.
Yeah. But how was that? Because I was thinking about the whole aspect of like look at somebody like that's so artistic, right? So much that, but then that goes just kind of to real business, right? How to handle business. And you look at Tyler, you know, the supreme artist who takes every single note seriously. But you've built all these businesses. Like, how do these guys find that balance in your judgment?
The world right now is in this weird place where it's like, I don't care what business you talk about, it's old money and infrastructure, and kids that grew up on Google going, "What the fuck you doing?" Right? Like, it's like, and they're holding on to their way of business because it pays a lot of people's salaries, and there's levels to those salaries, and like, it's a business that just happens. And then you have kids going, "Why are you doing it that way?" You know, like, so for me, why Tyler's great in my experience is that he's not afraid to fail at all, which is fucking rare, right? Like, fear kind of drives a lot of decision making. So you eliminate that, and you kind of learn as you go. You trust in yourself. Again, stop, breathe, do the best you can, stay out of the results, and like, surround yourself. My motto, period, is surround yourself with people who know what the fuck they doing and let them do their job. I'm not trying. At the moment, if I think I know everything, I'm done, because that's crazy, right? So like, I want to find people that know what they're doing, and let them do their job, and and pat them on the back and say, you know what I mean? Like, let them live. Like I always say, like, when you bring an opportunity to me, or you bring you have a question, give me your answer first. The people I work with are like, give me your answer first. I'm gonna start there. I may say go fuck yourself, right? but I'm gonna start there,
right?
Because you fucking earned that. Like, I'm not, you know, it's like, this is what you do. You handle fucking this. You do. Then you tell me what you would do. I want everyone to feel like they're a part of it, because again, I don't. So as far, it's all trust. It's like, and not being afraid to fail. We didn't know how to do, like, you know, whether it's the clothing or the festival or the other things. It's like, you kind of, not knowing everything, or having some sort of old blueprint of how to do stuff is a gift. It can be a curse if you get caught up in the fear of that. But if you remove the fear of it, it's nothing but a gift. It's like, okay, fuck, I'm passionate enough to give a shit. Let's go figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
What advice would you give to new artists to break through now in the world? Because now it just seems like we're living in the DSP land. There's so much stuff. Like, SoundCloud used to be such a great bridge to break talent through. Like, how do you get noticed? And how does the new Tyler creator or the next generation break through and get noticed?
Well, you look at like Brockhampton's a great example. Brockhampton is this collective of ridiculously talented kids that all do different things. I'm a fan of people would always be mad at their label. I'm like, if you're mad at your label, you should be mad at yourself, because you're relying on your label. This is your fucking label. Like, that's like that. They the art, they're the distribution. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
There's the fucking internet, dude. So you know what I mean? Like, if you're mad at your label, you look kind of crazy to me. Right? Like, again, now you may surround yourself with people that go, yeah, fuck the label, blah, 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 because it makes them feel bad, whatever.
But even if it's after label, you can't blame everything on them.
No.
You can't blame the label all the time.
No, because you're either making things that connect or not. Yeah. So, like, to me, it's what advice? The advice is, again, for the lane I'm in, would be, if you believe in yourself, be fucking strict about who you want to be and go create that and put it out into the world. And like, it may not happen right away. It may take, you know, it's like the people, we're in this like again, cliche, but like that need for instant gratification. Shit that means something sometimes doesn't mean shit until 6 months from now. I'm a hindsight guy. That's why I don't really fuck with Twitter. It's like Twitter's like...
You retired in 2015.
Yeah. Fuck you. You're like emotional, knee-jerk, like, fuck you, whatever. This is what I think, and this is my opinion. And now you're somehow locked into that opinion, right? Because now if you change that opinion, oh, you fucking, you
backpedal.
No, I actually educated myself and I changed my goddamn mind, right? So like, I don't want to emotionally. That's why I kind of bit my tongue the last couple of weeks. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna let this be what it is because I'm gonna say something that's just gonna be stupid, that's emotional, and then this is going on. That doesn't help anybody. Right. So like, if you stay true to yourself, put out shit that you love, that you look in the mirror and go, I fucking love this. And then stay out of the results and let the phone ring. I'm a fan of incoming calls, not outgoing calls. Like, if the phone ain't ringing, then you got to revisit how you doing shit.
Damn, that's right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, if I got to call and sell all the time, you're not connecting.
You also say you're a shit liar too. So
I'm a terrible liar.
So how important is honesty? How important is honesty in finding that right partner the way Tyler found you and
it's huge because if you don't have that, then it's based on something else. Then what's it based on? It's based on income. It's based on now you're operating from income. But if you have the honesty and you're having fun, the income happens. It's like the income is the default, not default, it's the
reward.
Yeah, the reward. If you're focused solely on that, it's not. It takes you out of your intuitive sensibility of making decisions. Like, I feel like again, Brockhampton is a great example. Those guys met on a Kanye West forum. They all moved to fucking South Central Los Angeles a few years back. Moved into a house, a bunch of kids. Some of them knew each other. Some of them they all came together. They knew what they wanted to do. They knew the HK, who's this brilliant kind of creative. He's like the Virgil of the group, and brilliant. And they just kept making and creating and doing things that felt good for themselves. And like it just keep doing it, and then let the phone ring.
Right.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Let the phone ring. But then again, I know why Tyler trusts you. You saved his life.
I don't know about that.
He said I read that you guys were on the road in the early years and you swerved out and almost got into an accident.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, yeah. I didn't save his life. I guess we were driving to. I think it was their first show at the Low End Theory, and I had all of them in my car, and I had turned down a road. I don't remember where I was. I just remember I turned and then the car was coming like this, and I just swerved out, and it was like, but it was close enough to where I was like, that night I'm in bed going, man, can you imagine? Like, it could have all just ended, like, and like legit, like it was like this. So it was like, how different? It's crazy. Life is wild.
And you took him out for waffles afterward, right?
We went for waffles. Denny's, I think it was.
Thank you, Clancy. Appreciate you, my man.
All good. Appreciate you.
Continued success.
I must say, we go back. You have been very consistent in asking me over the years, and I have been very consistent in avoiding a response.
That phone was ringing.
And it was you kind of hit me. In all honesty, if I'm being honest, you hit me at the time where I kind of wanted to say something.
Okay, I'm good.
And I was like, okay, TIDAL, I'll come.
Okay,
I see the connection. All right. And then I took a breath. I had my moment, and now it's all good.
And that's Christian Clancy. Thank you, brother.